Hello and welcome to Newsworm. I'm your host Chris with the CHRILLCAST, and today we actually had a poll and at least 36 of you voted. It would be nice if we could get some more votes. That'd be great. All you got to do is head on over to our community tab, and every poll ever will always appear here for you guys to vote. Now, today's interesting topics included at number one, the problem with all aging handheld gaming systems, that 44%. In second place, we had why I haven't bought a PS5 or an Xbox Series X at 31%. In the third place, we had why you should buy a new 3DS in 2022 at 14%. In fourth place, we had will Nintendo do another Switch revision at 8%. And then in last place, sadness, what's next for the Metroid series, question mark, at 3%. So probably one or two of you even voted for that. Anyway, so the winner is the problem with all aging handheld systems. If you like the way we cover the news, make sure you subscribe, like this video, and comment your thoughts down below. What do you think the problem is with all aging handheld gaming systems? Make sure that you comment below now, and you can edit it later if you have to change your mind. Okay. So let's get into it. Well, how many handheld gaming systems are out there? I did some math today, and I must say it's actually a higher number than I thought it was. Lifetime sales of game consoles, portable ones that is, are above 700 million total. Now, I know that's not even close to how many of these things have sold, the smartphones, but these are dedicated gaming handhelds. Over 700 million have sold in the lifetime of handheld consoles. I'd be willing to bet it's probably closer to 750 million if you include every single knockoff console on Amazon and everywhere else that have sold. But we're going to stick to the official numbers, and it's somewhere around 700 million portable consoles sold. So let's get into it. A handheld game console, or simply a handheld console, is a small, portable, self-contained video game system with a built-in screen, game controls, and speakers. Handheld game consoles are smaller than home video game consoles and contain the console, screen, speakers, and controls in one unit, allowing them to carry them in one place. What's interesting is they don't mention the fact that it has a power source. That power source is, I'm going to say 99.99999% of the time, is a battery. Okay. So, a brief history of handheld consoles, okay? Boom, boom, back. You have the original one, which is the Microvision by Milton Bradley in 1979. So, we've been producing portable gaming consoles since 1979. The second one was the NTEX Select a Game, NTEX Adventure Vision, Palmtex Portable Video Game System, 1984. The Game Boy, rounding out the decade at 1989, one of the most successful consoles of all time, 120 million sales. The Atari Lynx at 500,000 sales, that was in 1989 as well. The Sega Game Gear coming in behind the Game Boy at 11 million sales, roughly a tenth of what the Game Boy sold. The Turbo Express at 1.5 million sales, which is pretty good for Turbo Express. Yamate Game 8, Bit Corporation, 1990. Technically similar to the original Game Boy, plays monochrome games from ROM cartridges. I've actually never seen this console in the history of my life. Game Master, 1990. Technologically far behind the Game Boy, which is interesting. The Watara Supervision in 1992. Looks similar to a Game Boy, plays monochrome games from ROM cartridges. Let's see here, we got the Mega Duck, 1993. The Sega Nomad, technically the first Switch, because it was technically a full-blown Genesis that played Genesis games on the go. Pretty cool. Let's move on to game.com. Tiger Electronics, gotta love Tiger. Neo Geo Pocket in 1998. The Wonder Swan in 1999. The Cybeco in 2000. Finally, we get to the Game Boy Advance. 12 years after the original Game Boy's release in 1989. Now, they include in this line of gaming handhelds the Game Boy Pocket, the Game Boy Color, So, 120 million sales. Game Boy Advance did pretty well as well. although not as well with 81.5 million sales, roughly 1,500 games released. Definitely considered a commercial success. And we have the GP32 game park, released in South Korea, 32,000 sales. Engage by Nokia. You got the in 2003. That was not a very well-selling console, even though it sold 3 million. Definitely not a success based on what happened with that one. The Tapwave Zodiac. Combination handheld game console and PDA, features a touchscreen with an included stylus and MP3 player, plays digital games via internal memory or SD cards. Received critical acclaim for its concept, was a commercial failure, especially after Sony's 2004 release of the PlayStation Portable. Technically, the first touchscreen portable gaming console is the Tapwave Zodiac. Pretty positive on that. Oh, maybe not. Nope. The Cybeco beat that by a little bit. All right, I take back what I said. The Cybeco. First one I had heard of, though, was the Tapwave Zodiac, so that's interesting. All right, moving on. After that, you get the Nintendo DS, the best-selling handheld console of all time at 154 million units sold. Released in the, I think it was 2004. Which cut short the Game Boy Advance's lifespan by a significant amount, considering the Game Boy line ran for 12 years prior to the Game Boy Advance. Prior to the DS, you only had 3 years. Moving on, we had the PSP at 80 million units, 2004. Gizmondo, 2005 at 25,000 units. GP2X Game Park Holdings, 2005. No idea what that is. The Dingu, which looks like essentially a GBA Micro, even though it isn't. GP2X Wiz Game Parks Holdings, Pandora, Open Pandora 2010. Then you got the Canoe Game Parks Holding. Nintendo 3DS, 75 million units. The PlayStation Vita, one of my favorite handheld consoles ever. In fact, I think it is my favorite by a long shot. Switch can't even touch it. Okay, moving on. 16 million units sold. The Neo Geo X, which, by the way, my friend Pete, OEB Pete, shout out to Classy Gaming Fun, has one of these, and they're pretty interesting, pretty cool, and curious what he would say about it today. He does have a video, so just type in Classy Gaming Fun, Neo Geo X, you'll find out. GCW0 2013, the NVIDIA Shield. I'm actually curious how many sales this had. GPD. So GPD is an interesting brand. It's a essentially Windows PC gaming tablet that's the size of a DS, or slightly larger, but about the same idea, especially with the 3DS XLs. GPD win. And then you got the Nintendo Switch in 2017. It actually has closer to 102 million units sold. The Evercade, which is a pretty cool concept, we'll check it out. Pretty neat idea. Analog Pocket, which will allow you to play essentially every retro gaming handheld game ever if they get their ducks in a line and get adapters for all of them. The Panic Playdate, also interested in this. And then down to the bottom here, the one I actually have pre-ordered, the Steam Deck. Okay, what does every portable console in history have in common? I'll tell you what. It has the same thing in common with the Vita as you do with a wireless controller. What is that? A battery. So, just what we just talked about. 700 million consoles plus all require batteries. Now, with older consoles, like, for example, the PSP, which I have sitting right, I'll just grab it real quick, 1 second. Forgive me, I'm making a mess over here. With the PSP, you've got a little slightly easier time with this, but here you go, I'll show you right here. If I can get it open, my goodness. There we go. You got a battery, okay? A battery. What happens to batteries as they get older? What happens to batteries? Well, they start to go. They start to get bigger. They start to explode. They start to have problems. And eventually all batteries require replacement. Now, with batteries that are removable, at least this seems to be removable. I'm having a hard time with it. With batteries that are removable, no big deal. Find a new battery, replace it. Although with something more proprietary like this battery, you're gonna have a harder time finding a new one, let alone replace, finding one that still works. But inevitably, with the PSP and how successful it was, somebody will always be making a new battery for it, most likely. But what about a console like the PS Vita? Only had about 16 million sales, far less than its predecessor, the PSP. What about this console? Will there always be batteries for this console? I really don't know, so I took a gamble and ordered one of the iFixit batteries for the PS Vita, and I replaced it myself. And it's easy, but barrier of entry for replacing electronic components inside of a handheld console, most people aren't going to do that. So what happens to a PS Vita when the battery dies? Well, the average consumer is going to say, here you go, chuck it, bye-bye. And then you end up with material waste. There's less consoles in the wild. The population of people that own the console dwindles, and your supply goes down. Not to mention the amount of waste that these batteries lead to, especially when people just throw them away and don't recycle them, or do the environmentally friendly thing to do with them. So every console you own has a battery problem. They either use batteries, they have a built-in battery that you require to recharge and then eventually replace, or for the people that never take batteries out, like for example on the Sega Nomad, the Sega Game Gear, the Game Boy, corrosion. You have corrosion on the circuits, and that's also an issue. That's an issue that you get with, if I can find it, here it is. That's an issue you wind up with on wireless controllers. It's one of the reasons why I think it's important that we have, let's see, no corrosion on this one, but easily with a controller like this, leaving the batteries in for an extended period of time could lead to corrosion. Corrosion leads to damaged circuits, and then your expensive controller is trash. Toss it away, right? Well, there was a time prior to modern consoles, prior to portables, where you never had to worry about that. Wired controllers. Consoles plugged into your TV. Yeah, the power supply could go bad, but it's not a battery. Power supplies generally have a better track record than batteries. Overall, I'm not going to say every power supply outlives every battery, but the failure rate after the first year is much lower on a, power supply in a console than it is in a handheld. So the main problem here is every handheld that you own is subject to degradation by battery. And if you're not on top of that, even your precious Nintendo Switch will eventually succumb to its battery. Now, the question is, are you prepared as the consumer to take responsibility and replace the battery yourself, or responsibly get it replaced? And at the time you need it, will it be available? I'm going to show you something that seemed pretty dire to me. iFixit. So I just replaced my PS Vita, but wait till you see this. Unless they've restocked. I don't know, maybe they have. Should have had this up. So there's the Vita Slim. I don't need that. I need the regular battery. Batteries. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, this is only for the Slim. Where's the PS Vita 1000? Back. Let's see if we can find it. I found it before. I literally bought my battery from this website. You would think I'd be able to find it again. Oh, let's see. PlayStation, okay, here, PlayStation Vita. There we go. Battery. There you go. So yeah, you can get to this PlayStation Vita battery. There you go. See, I thought they had the stock list. Maybe they don't. Anyway, I saw something. I thought it said that they didn't. Well, I know that they don't have any used ones. They're completely out of stock there. Let's see what the total number I can go up to is. Let's see. Let's try 25. Okay, they still got 25 in stock. Let's try 100. Let's try, I don't know. Let's try 1,000. Add to cart. Okay, here we go. 44 are left on iFixit's website. And these are the quality, high quality batteries that you can trust, because iFixit only stocks mostly quality parts. You know, you occasionally get the infantile failure. It's just what you got to respect with electronics. Every once in a while you get a dud. I just had a pump that I installed in my house that was a dud on arrival. Luckily, I was able to take it back, exchange it, get a new one. But electronics and anything that requires electricity do fail on arrival on occasion. So you have to take that with a grain of salt. But generally speaking, I've never had an issue buying something from iFixit. Usually very high quality parts, usually well made, long lasting. But 44 left. With only 16 million customers compared to the PSP, I sincerely doubt that we will be seeing a lot of restocks of batteries. So what happens when you're a responsible consumer, you replace the battery in your Vita, you go to find a new battery, and there aren't any? Well, your PS Vita is dead in the water. The Switch, it's going to last a lot longer. It's probably going to have battery support for quite a long time after the Switch is done. But, I mean, eventually people will stop producing the battery when it's not cost effective to do so. And that's the main issue I hear. I mean, we have the PS3, PS4, PS5 CMOS issue, where the watch battery could potentially prevent you from playing your games. But at the very least, you could probably hack it and get it to work again. Battery's dead on the Vita, and you can't find a new battery because they're proprietary. Sorry, you're out of luck. Yeah, I mean, you just can't play your console anymore. And even the PSP is getting harder to find batteries for. So that's where I'm at. Every console that has ever existed has a battery problem, whether it's uses too many batteries too quickly, like your old Game Gear, Game Boy, etc., or if it's non-easily replaceable battery, or third option, the battery's proprietary, like the PSP and the PS Vita. And then it's just, is there a cost benefit for a third party to produce the battery for those consoles? If there is, I'm sure it'll get made. If there isn't, well, you got to figure something else out. Like, you know, learn electronic circuits, wire something in that works. And that's a shame because, like I said, I love the PlayStation Vita, but I wholeheartedly expect at some point in time there will not be batteries for it that I can easily buy and replace. And I'm good with electronics. I know what I'm doing when I need to replace stuff like batteries. Replace them on cell phones and consoles and anything that needs cars. You need to replace a battery. I've done it. Okay. And if I can't get a battery, I can't do it anymore. So I'm not saying stock up on batteries. Don't go buy 44 PlayStation Vita batteries, but you might want to. I mean, this console is now just about a decade old. It's probably about the right time to consider replacing the batteries before you run out of the enjoyment you can have with the PlayStation Vita. Anyways, that's my PSA to all you portable gamers out there like me. Eventually, all batteries die. And if you're not prepared, then you'll be out your portable console for a while or forever. So, as always, I'm Chris. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you have other thoughts on this whole situation, let me know. But make sure you vote in the poll today. Hopefully we don't get another depressing topic like batteries and portable consoles. So, as always, I'm Chris. I'll see you all on the next one. Bye, guys.